So let's imagine I'm targeting this guy, Dan Ho, who is the head of sales development at Birdie. We can see from LinkedIn that he is hiring SDRs and his recent posts about taking his team paintballing. At a company level, I know that they sell to care homes, so I use that in my subject line, SDR paintballing. Now he's opened the email, I want to start the message with you instead of we or I, as it's going to force me to talk about him and his company. So here's the first line, Dan, fun initiative taking your SDRs paintballing. The reason we put this personalization up front in the first line is twofold. Many people will stop reading the email if they read the first line and they think it's all about selling your product. The second is preview text. This is the text that comes up after your subject line that is a continuation of the subject line. Once I've got his attention with the first line, I want to move on to our next pillar and talk about a pain point that is both measurable and emotional. So I write, as you're hiring new SDRs, onboarding can be tiring as the average ramp time for a SaaS SDR is 4 months. Now, in case you didn't know, SaaS is software as a service and SDRs are sales development reps at book meetings. In general, with acronyms, only use them if you know your buyer understands them. Based on working with tech sales leaders like Dan, I know they use this language, which is why I've used it. In terms of the pain, the average ramp-up time of 4 months is my measurable material challenge, and the onboarding being tiring is my spiritual challenge about how it makes Dan feel. Now, based on my conversations with thousands of sales leaders, I know that a big pain point after hiring is onboarding. Now, if you're new to your job and not sure what the pains of your customers are, see if you can interview some of your happiest customers and ask them what were the big pain points they had before working with you. If not, you can also ask some of your leadership team or more experienced teammates who have closed a lot of deals. So let's look at the call to action, or CTA, which is the question that inspires your leads to reply. Interested in a playbook template that can help your SDRs get in front of more care homes. This here is what we call the content giveaway and applies the concept of giving versus taking we talked about in the 5 pillars module. Most salespeople ask for 15 minutes for a meeting in their CTA, but you haven't earned the right to ask for time off a stranger until you've given them something of value. So think about what is a piece of content that is relevant to their job role and company. As Dan is hiring SDRs, I'm giving our playbook template that he can use with or without us to help onboard his SDR team. If you're not sure what content you can give, then ask your marketing team or even fellow sellers what content your buyers like and is popular with them. Now, you also see we don't use a link to the content or an attachment, as this may get you sent to spam. Email servers don't trust emails that have attachments from unknown addresses. It also means they have to reply yes to your email to see the content, which means you can start a conversation. The goal here with this first email is just to get him to reply yes. And once he has done that, I've started a conversation and have then earned the right to ask for time. A sneaky tactic is if someone replies to you, often their mobile number is in the signature, or cell phone as you say in the US, and you can have a conversation about the content you sent. If I was to call Dan, I could then ask him, just sent over the playbook template. How are you currently training SDRs? In our cold calling module, we'll discuss what else to say in those cold calls. Final note on this email is that it's short. You want to keep it under 100 words, but ideally even under 70 words. You're a stranger and you need to get their attention quickly. Also, another tip, read it on mobile and see if it comes in big blocks of text. 70% of emails are now read on cell phones. So here's the template to use. Pause the video and write your own. Once you've written it down, show it to some colleagues like a manager or a fellow seller and get some feedback on it.